Hello, welcome back to Crochet the Beginning. This is part 9. And I want to say first off, I am so sorry that it has been so long. Um, I've had some really crazy weeks, and this week was no exception. But all I can say is it's summer, and when you work at an airport in the summer, you're going to deal with a whole lot of stress. Unfortunately, my body has decided that there's been enough stress and has causing me all kinds of issues. So I apologize for the time in between my videos. And as you know, I record these on a Monday night, and I usually record these about 9 or 10 o'clock at night while JR is at work. It is now actually 11:04 p.m. I really wanted to make this video tonight, but I was dragging today. But I do just want to say I apologize for the delay in videos. It was not my intention. I am hoping that I will get back on track this time. So, basically, last time I was with you, we finished up the granny squares. And I told you that I was thinking about doing a crochet along or CAL using granny squares to make a bag. I am still in that thought process, and I am about 90% done with the prototype. Again, I apologize that it's taking so long, but there are some stitches and things that I want to go over before we actually do the bag. But on just one little quick note, I wanted to show you three different types of granny squares. So this is the traditional one that, we made and everything. And of course, my dog children are trying to get me to play. This is their current favorite toy. This is a tentacle off of a Kong octopus that they have ripped off. This right now is their absolute favorite toy to play with. I don't understand, but it is. So this is a traditional granny square that we have. Sorry about that. That we have just finished working on. Not now, Dexter. Well, this is also a granny square. But if you notice the difference between them, this one has very little to no holes, whereas this one has holes. But these are both granny squares. They're both different types of yarn also. Same weight, but different hook and different yarn. And this one is also a granny square. This one is started off in the round, and then when it's finished off in the last row, it is finished off with triples, half double crochets, and double crochets to make a square. So all three of these are granny squares. Granny squares are very, very virtual. Are very easily adapted to use. Versatile. They're very versatile. I apologize. I had a whole huge set of seizures on Friday. My brain is still trying to catch up. So these three are all granny squares. Okay. This is why I tell you these are very, very versatile. You can make a big giant square blanket just out of a granny square. They even have made it to where you can make granny square long things just in strips that you just go back and forth making granny square styles. If you like the style with the holes and how it looks, you can do that. If you're interested in that design and pattern, let me know. I will happily write one up and go through the beginnings of it with you. I have no qualms doing that. Just let me know in the comments below, or I actually do now have got my website up and running. There is still a lot of work to be done with the website, but the website is handmadebyhev.com. I would have done Handmade by Heather, but that domain name has already been taken and they want like $1,400 for it, and I just can't do that. So Handmade by Hev right now. But will have email addresses for you in the link below. The link below. I will have links to my Facebook, Instagram, my website, and the emails, so that way you can email me directly your questions. You can always message me on Facebook Messenger. Let me know. I'm always willing to help, even if it has nothing to do with what we've gone over, but you have some other kind of crochet or knitting question. Ask me. I may know the answer. If I know the answer, I'm happy to give it out. If I don't know the answer, I will tell you, but then you're kind of giving me a little bit of a challenge, and I'll try to figure it out, or I'll find the answer. But so since we've basically gone over the basics of crochet and we're kind of pretty much done with that, I thought that I would start going in and doing some different stitches that you can make in crochet. Because you know all the basics, you know the slip stitch, you know the single crochet, you know the half double crochet, you know the double crochet, you know the triple crochet, you know all these. So I was thinking that, okay, what about going through and devoting a video to each different type of stitches? And I highly doubt that I will actually be able to get through them all, but I thought I'd give it a kick, give it a try. But so today I thought that we would go over what I know as the cluster stitch. It is a fairly easy stitch. There shouldn't be, it's basically double crochet worked a little bit different. Nothing major. But I thought we'd go over that. And so that way, if it came across in another pattern that you're working or somewhat, you would know how to do it. I can say for one thing, you will need this stitch in my crochet along. You'll be making 2 blocks with it. Not many, just 2. But I think it will add a nice little point. And yeah, if you notice that I have bruises all over me, I had a visit to the hospital Friday. So it's just places where people were trying to hold my hands and making sure I wasn't hitting myself while I was having my seizures. So I apologize if you noticed the bruise, because I just now noticed I have one right there. That explains why my hand's been hurting. But so that's what that is. But this little gray spot right here, this stitch, that's a cluster stitch. That right there. And if you look at it, there's actually 3 different stitches that make up that cluster stitch. Okay? So, we are going to learn how to do that today. And so all I have done in prep, which I know is quite unusual for me because usually I prep while I'm talking to you, is I have made a chain of 22 and then put in 20 half double crochets all the way down it. I think my camera just glitched. So anyway, just in case it did, this is a chain of 22, and then I went and put 20 half double crochets down it, chained 3, and now I'm going to turn. Okay, now a cluster stitch is a way to make things look kind of poofier or kind of more full without adding your stitch count. Okay, so in order to make a cluster stitch, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a single double crochet in this first stitch right here. Okay, now I am going to chain 1 because I want a little space in between my stitches. So I chained 1, but I don't want to add any more stitches into this. I still want 20. So we chained 1, so we're going to skip this next stitch right here, and we're going to go in to this one right here. So yarn over, put your hook through, grab the yarn and pull it up. You should have 3 loops on your hook, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now if you were doing a half double crochet, you'd just grab the yarn and pull through all 3. If you were doing a double crochet, you'd grab the yarn, pull through 2, then grab the yarn and pull through the last 2. We're not doing that this time. We are doing a modified double crochet stitch in order to make this cluster. So what I want you to do is grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops, and that's all. Okay, you have 2 loops on your hook right now. Okay, so now I want you to yarn over, put your hook back in the same exact hole, grab the yarn and pull it through, and now you should have 4 loops on your hook. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want you to grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops, and that's it. Now you have 3 loops. 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook. Okay, to make a 3-stitch cluster, which is my standard cluster, you can actually make it just with 2 like we have here. You can make it with however many you want to put in it. Okay, I usually have issues when you start getting above 4. I like the look of 3. So to make a 3, all you do is wrap the yarn again, stick the hook back in the same hole, grab the yarn, pull it through, and pull through 2 loops on your hook. Okay, now you should still have 4 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've done that 3 times. So that's 3 stitches. So now what I want you to do is grab the yarn and pull through all 4 loops. Okay. You don't have to, but I have, for all of my designs that I work, and you will need to follow the pattern as to what the pattern is telling you to do. I always close my cluster stitches with a chain 1. To me, that gives it a little more of a finished look, in my opinion. But that is just a simple 3-stitch cluster. Sorry, forgetting what I was talking about there. That is a simple 3-stitch cluster. So let's go through that again. Okay, so we've chained 1, so we're going to skip 1 here. Okay, that's the next stitch right there, but we just chained 1, so let's skip it so we go over to this one. Okay, yarn over, put your hook in the stitch, grab the yarn and pull through. There's 3 loops on the hook, 1, 2, 3. Grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops, and then you have 2 loops on your hook. Okay, yarn over, put your hook into the same stitch as you did the first time, grab the yarn, pull through, you have 4 loops on your hook, grab the yarn, pull through 2, You have 3 loops on your hook. Okay, yarn over, back into the same stitch you were in, grab the yarn, pull through. There is 5 loops on your hook. Okay, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and there's 4 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn, grab the yarn, pull through all 4 loops on your hook, and then chain 1. There's 2 cluster stitches. Okay, so let's do that again. Yarn over, skip 1 stitch, go into the next stitch, yarn, grab the yarn, pull through 2 loops, yarn over into the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops, 3 loops on the hook. One more time, yarn over, go through the same stitch as before, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, have 4. Yarn over, grab the yarn over and grab the yarn, pull through 4 loops, all the loops that are on your hook, and then chain 1. There's 3. Knew you could do it. Never doubted. Okay, let's do it again. Apparently, my red Aussie is shedding as per normal. So yeah, these videos coming up with stitches may be a little shorter than the others, but I think that'll work out. Okay, so let's do it again. Yarn over, skip a stitch, yarn into the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 2. Hold on just a second. Oh, sorry. Yarn over, into the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 2, yarn over, into the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 2 stitches. You may have to wiggle your hook back and forth depending on how tight you crochet. I always have to because I am a notorious tight crocheter. Grab the yarn, go through all 4 loops on a hook, and chain 1. Now, let's have you go and do one by yourself. I will do it in slow motion without talking to you, or at least I will try. Okay. Now that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we have done. Okay. But now if you look up here, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is what I'm saying. This looks fuller than just plain double crochets. You still have your space in between them. And if you don't put the chain 1 in, they're going to stand right next to each other. And you may have a little bit of issues. Now, some people will call this the puff stitch, but to me, the puff stitch is a different stitch. I've always used this as a cluster stitch because I do like making blankets with it because I like making blankets and scarves with it because it does look a little fuller than just normal double crochets. If you hear that in the background, I apologize. That is my washer. I have a feeling I'm going to have to get a repairman because I don't know why it's making that big clunking noise. And I am not a machine fixer, but I'm hoping you don't hear it in the background. But I like this because it is fuller looking. Honestly, in my opinion, it looks pretty fancy in my opinion. And like I said, you can make this stitch with however many stitches you want. You can do a 2, which looks like this. It's a teeny tiny one. You can do it with 4, which will look like, let's see, that was 2. This is 3. And there's 4. And that looks even bigger than the 3s. And you can just keep adding more to it as you want. The only thing you may have to watch is the more stitches you put in there, you may need to, in order to have it actually showcase as a cluster and not just a mashing of stitches, you may have to add a little bit like a chain 2 or something in between the clusters. Okay? So that is how you make a cluster stitch, and you make that cluster stitch the same exact way, whether you're doing it back and forth like this, or if you're doing it in the round like I did here. It is still the same. This stitch and this stitch, these 2 stitches are done the exact same way. There's no difference. Okay? Don't let anybody tell you that because you work it in the round, it has to be done differently than how you work it back and forth. It doesn't. It is the same exact stitch. Okay? The motions you do, the movements you do are exactly the same. There is no difference. The only difference between working in the round or working back and forth is where you start and stop. That's it. Okay? When you work in the round, you start and stop at the same exact spot. When you work back and forth, you start and you stop at opposite ends. That's the only difference. Okay? I had a message saying that the reason I'm bringing that up, I had a message stating that when you crocheted in the round, your stitches were different. They were done differently than what they were done when you did it back and forth like this one. That's not the case. If it's the case, then you're doing something different. You're doing a different type of crochet. I am going over the basics. I'm not covering mosaic crochet, Tuscany, I think it's called, Tucson crochet. I'm not covering any of those. Those will be down the line if I have enough interest in them to be done. I mean, I just got notified I have 10 subscribers. I'm honestly floored. I honestly figured I'd have maybe 2, and that was it. So, mind you, I'm not going to complain. Thank you, each and every one of you. I appreciate it. And like I have said multiple times before, I am not funded by anything. I am not paid by anything. I am not making money to do this. I am doing this because I want to share the love of handcrafts. For crying out loud, if I had enough interest and people wanted me to teach them how to do counted crochet, counted cross stitch, I'd do that. No biggie. If I know how to do it, I'm happy to share the knowledge. I started with crochet because it is the handcraft that I have done the longest. It is the handcraft that I started doing when I was a child. So I am the most comfortable with it. Whether or not I actually will venture into teaching you how to do knitting or things like that, if anybody wants, will be down the line. I'm working on this right now. I am easing into this. That's it. But I'm sorry, I got off track there. I apologize. This is how you do a cluster stitch. It is not difficult. It is not hard. So that's how you do a cluster stitch. And on a side note, I have my bestie, Kim. She lives in California. Well, she has anxiety issues. And lately there has been a viral and for us anxiety girlies, weighted blankets can be a heaven sent, or a weighted plushie or something can be a heaven sent. And she was mentioning that she would like a weighted blanket. Well, here's the kicker. For us adults, it can be very expensive for a weighted blanket for the amount of weight that an adult needs. So I was scrolling through thinking of how can I help my bestie, and I came across a pony bead weighted blanket. Mind you, this is not done. It's nowhere near done. And like I've said before, all this hair will not be on it when I mail it to her. But basically, all it is half double crochets with 2 different hook size and pony beads. That's it. My normal half double crochets in this, I'm using a H hook, a 5.0 millimeter H hook. For the rows that have the pony beads, I am using a 2.5 millimeter because it fits through the hook, through the pony beads. That's it. This, I'm floored. I don't know. It was a design that I found on Ravelry, but I had heard about it via different TikToks and different other places. But this is an idea for all of you that have anxiety or have children that have anxieties or anything else, but they seem to be comforted when they have weight on them. This is an idea. Kimmy wanted a rainbow one. So, needless to say, she's getting rainbow. And these are honestly, I have 2 boxes of these. And I have gone through all of the iridescent pearlized purples. So we're moving on to the solid ones. And then we're going to move to these glittery ones. And then we're going to start over with the blue, then the green, then the yellow, then the orange, then the red. I don't understand how this is red, but this is what they sent me saying it was red. I don't know if I'm going to keep these because these are pink. These are not red. And just buy individual red ones that match this. But I mean, even this is more of a teal than a blue, but I'm not going to be picky. I have 2 boxes of these, and I have simple worsted weight yarn in all the rainbow colors, and I'm just crocheting it away. And honestly, I've only done 3 rows of beads, and it already has a little bit of weight. It's nothing much, but it does have a little bit of weight. Kimmy wants just a throw, so I'm making it. And yeah, it's really long, as you can tell. But honestly, I'm going to make it a vertical stripe. Most of the time when you see blankets, the stripes go this way. Well, I got a little crochet stitch happy when I did my beginning chain. So we're going to make our stripes go this way. So they're going to go this way on her. So, but yeah, if you're interested in the pattern to do this, let me know and I'll send you a link to it. If you are interested in how to do this, let me know and I will show you how I started it. But yeah, I know the internet is abuzz right now with Taylor Swift's crochet dress. I don't crochet clothes. I know how to do it, but I don't crochet clothes. So that's my video for the day. We're right at about 30 minutes, which is where I kind of like to keep it. So just one little thing. This was the cluster stitch, and then we got on a little spree with the weighted blanket over there, but I thought the weighted blanket might be something some of you might be interested in. Once again, if you need any help, drop me a comment below or contact me via the links that are in the description of this video. I am always happy to help. I never get upset. There is no question that is too simple. There are no stupid questions, in my opinion, when it comes to handcrafting. So any question you have, just ask me and we'll see if I can know the answer. And if I don't, I'll be happy to find it for you. All right. So thank you. Have happy crocheting and I will see you next week. Which honestly, at this point, I really don't know what I'm going to go over, but it may be another stitch. I'm not 100% sure right yet. I'm still floating around in my head as to what I want to do. And if you want to know, those are the children you keep hearing. That is Ember. That is Dexter. And yes, if you're curious, Miss Onyx, the little kitten that you saw here, she is growing. She is perfectly healthy. She is upstairs with Toast, our other one. And I forgot to mention, I am posting TikToks. And all they are is just basically 10 minutes of me talking to you and crafting. That's it. So come join me on TikTok. I will leave the link below. Come join me on TikTok for 10 minutes of listening to me chatter at you while crafting. If I think I'll get enough interest one of these days, I will go live with it and we can just sit together and craft. If I can do it at a time when it is easy, acceptable for me and acceptable for you, we'll look at doing that. Okay. So thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Happy crocheting and let me see your projects. I'm always interested. Have a wonderful evening.